Imagine waking up one day and realize that everything you've ever believed, your family, your life, and even your very purpose was built on silence. What if asking a question can make you lose everyone you love? Now, this isn't fiction. This is the story of tens of thousands of former Jehovah's Witnesses who left the religion, which taught them that they had the truth. This is Tell Me Dr. K, a channel on which we discuss matters of theological nature, no matter how complex, difficult, or politically incorrect they might be. Because on Tell Me Dr. K, no question, no topic is off limit. We discuss and challenge any doctrine, religious practice, or belief that we believe contradicts the Bible. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses are proud to declare that they are growing. In 2024, the organization claimed that it had reached 9 million members worldwide and nearly 300,000 baptisms. Now, that sounds like a revival. But the question is it really a revival? Now, let's look at some data points. In 2023, the Jehovah's Witnesses declared that they had baptized 296,000 new members. But the net increase of publishers was just 88,000, 200,000 plus missing. Where did they go? Now, what is interesting is that even the Jehovah's Witnesses statistics are also showing that there's a problem inside. For example, between 2010 and 2019, over 65,000 more were baptized than stayed. That's 65,000 individuals disappearing every year. Now here, I am talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses on statistics. Now, just imagine 2/3 leave in spite of the consequences. An indication that there is something totally wrong within the religion. And this is not just hearsay. This is backed by real evidence and also a lot of stories of the people who have left. So these are people who are making hardest decisions in their lives. The question is why? Why should these people make such hard decisions? Why should these people leave everything behind and lose everything they know, everything that is familiar to them, including their families, their identity, the whole community? Now, imagine being erased, not because you hate someone, but just because you stopped believing. The Jehovah's Witnesses use the practice called disfellowshipping. Of course, now they've used a softer word, which they are calling removal, when they expel you from the religion. What many people don't realize is this. Once you get baptized, it means you have vowed to remain a Jehovah's Witnesses forever. You have to be a member of Jehovah's organization, which is the Watchtower Society or the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. Once you make baptism, you have actually been initiated in this society. Shunning is described by experts as emotional blackmail. That's exactly what the Jehovah's Witnesses do. Once you leave, they will blackmail you into coming back. And then you realize that they've hidden the truth from you. And a very serious truth. They've hidden the abuse of children. For what purpose? To protect the name of the organization. For members who believed that this was Jehovah's clean organization, the discovery was a shattering betrayal. Here is something else. When the Jehovah's Witnesses leadership is caught lying, when all the lies come back to them, hit them in the face, they've come up with a new term called New Light. It is an excuse that they make for all the lies, for all unfulfilled predictions and prophecies that they've made in the past. The truth doesn't change, but the Jehovah's Witnesses' truth has been changing for decades. Teachings once called the truth were later discarded. A lot of writings of Charles Tazo Russo, if not all the writings, have been discarded. They were taught as the truth. Examples like studies in scriptures. Some doctrines were reversed completely. So the term new light is used to cover up the changes.
But have you ever wondered, though, how exactly does Jehovah reveal clarified understanding of the Scriptures, new light, in modern times? When the governing body is meeting together as the faithful and discreet slave, how does it work? How exactly does the light get brighter? How does Jehovah use that arrangement to clarify our understanding? Well, first of all, what do we know from the Scriptures? Let's look at 4 points. The first one is this: by what means does Jehovah reveal new light? Well, for that we can turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and read together 1 Corinthians 2, verse 10. For it is to us God has revealed them through his Spirit. For the Spirit searches into all things, even the deep things of God. So clearly, by what means does Jehovah reveal new light? It's by his Spirit. We recognize the key role that Jehovah's Spirit has in revealing the truth.
I did a video of a Jehovah's Witness I found at a bus station waiting for people to engage, and was busy studying, and I engaged him and asked him about this new light, whether they have the truth. He said, yes, they have the truth. I said, but how can you say that you have the truth when your truth keep changing? And then he quickly went to this new light. You know, in the dark, you can't see a person clearly, but when it's light, you can easily see clearly. So I says, oh, how do you know that your leaders are not right now in the dark? The man had very little to say about that. This new term, new light, justifies the changes. Jeffrey Winder even acknowledges that they make mistakes. Here's a brief clip.
Well, knowing this, then, we are not embarrassed about adjustments that are made, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right previously. We understand this is how Jehovah operates. He reveals matters gradually when it is needed. And also, the governing body is neither inspired nor infallible, and so it can err in doctrinal matters or in organizational direction. The brothers do the best they can with what they have and what they understand at the time, but are happy if Jehovah sees fit to clarify matters, and then that can be shared with the brotherhood. And when that happens, we understand it's because it's Jehovah's time for that to happen, and we eagerly accept that.
But for many, it raises a terrifying question. If this was God's truth yesterday, what is it today? It's a lie. Here is a quote from a 1954 court testimony. Yes, a member could be disfellowshipped for not believing something that was later proven false. That is way back in 1954. For many members, watching the truth evolve destroy their trust in the organization completely. Many Jehovah's Witnesses who are critical thinkers, who are always looking for information, who want to learn, who want to prove things, never stay in the organization. And a lot of them have testified on my channel saying, because I'm a critical thinker, or because I'm always searching for the truth, when I began to ask elders questions, I couldn't stay. Now, for over a century, Jehovah's Witnesses controlled the narrative. They controlled what members read. That ended with a single invention. The internet happened. It allowed for doubters to have access to forbidden information. And most importantly, it allowed doubters to find themselves. Previously, a doubter would be alone in one corner. And remember, before the internet, you had physical copies to read. And people could easily identify you when you're reading. Today, the whole world is in your palm, on your handset. You can scroll with your back against the wall, facing people. And as soon as you see them coming, you just flip to jw.org. Somebody said, I thought I was crazy until I found a post of somebody who was going through exactly the same thing that I was going through. That's when I realized the problem wasn't me. Now, online, former witnesses are rebuilding their lives because they are meeting a community, they are finding a support group, they are receiving advice from people who have gone through this experience. Their voices, once isolated, formed a chorus that the Watchtower Society could no longer drown out. The Watchtower Society should know that they cannot hold on to young people with fear forever. I remember when I was growing up as a boy, there are a lot of things that they told us in the community about what would happen if, for example, somebody got involved in premarital sex, or as a child, you are lured by an older woman. They told us that your fingers, your nails, your fingers will grow long and everyone will know. And in many cases, the strategy of the generation of our parents and grandparents was fear. And because we were in a closed society, we feared, we believed. Our children don't believe that anymore because the information is everywhere, is in the open. And the Jehovah's Witnesses should learn that. Young people are told no holidays, no birthdays, no college, no marrying out of the faith. But for the Gen Z and millennial generations raised in the faith, the rules were relics. They saw the contradictions. They saw the hypocrisy. They wanted choice. Education, freedom. Let's look at a statistic. JW youth have one of the lowest college enrollment rates in the US. And as a result of that, they quietly left. Some faded, some were forced out. But they left knowing one thing. The world was not as scary as they were told it was. Some of the evil people of this world they were supposed to be afraid of were even more kind, more accepting, more tolerating than the people in the Jehovah's organization. They realized the world wasn't as scary as they were taught. In fact, Jehovah's Witnesses hold on to members on fear-mongering. They tell pure, blunted lies about other church denominations. They don't read the Bible. They don't love you. They don't do this. And when people make a mistake of wandering in this church, they find it completely different. They find people who are genuine. And I'm not saying all other Christian denominations are genuine, but there are many who are. And the Jehovah's Witnesses organization has wrongly portrayed many of these organizations, many of these denominations, so that they can continue to hold on to the members. Here's a clip.
So when you were in, what really convinced you that it was like, hey, this is absolutely the truth, like everyone else is wrong, like I know I have it?
I guess it's things like, the Trinity doctrine. You're convinced that that's a false doctrine and stuff, and so things like that. The brotherhood, the worldwide brotherhood, that's a big one. We always fall back on that, like, oh, this is the only organization that we have, like this united brotherhood worldwide. We're not going to find that anywhere else. which is just not true at
No,
all.
it's not
Like,
it's not true. Like I went out of the country recently and I found a church just right on the corner from my hotel. And me and my wife went to church. We didn't plan on it. We were like, look, there's a church. Let's go. And luckily it was in our language, English. And
mm,
we had a blast. Like it was incredible. The singing was great and people were meeting people. And I didn't know who these people were, and I didn't know what kind of denomination this was. And yet we still got an incredible church experience, and it was totally normal. And it's like that's worldwide brotherhood. Like we
yeah.
don't know who these people are, but we're already accepted. It's not like I saw Burger Kings there too. I might have think, well, I can't eat at this place because I saw a Burger King on every corner, so therefore that's the true restaurant because they serve the same thing as they do around the corner from my house. But
Right.
unfortunately, I think that's kind of how a lot of witnesses think. Like, oh, look, it's the exact same sermon every single week. Yeah, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, I think too, I think one of the things that keeps witnesses in is this mentality too of like, well, where else would we go? And that was something for me too all my life. And even towards the end of waking up, there was this like, well, this feeling like you have to find out, you have to figure out what the truth is if this isn't. Where else am I going to go? But it was interesting because what was brought to my attention was that Peter didn't say, where will we go? He said, to whom shall we go? The point is we don't have to go anywhere. We just have to follow Christ. So I don't have to be a part of any one organization or something like that. I just have to continue to follow Christ and accept him.
Yeah.
And when that dawned on me, I realized it's okay to leave. Like I don't have to figure out now what to do or where to go or what, I can figure this out as I go. But yeah, I don't have to go anywhere. Yeah.
You've been through this incredible, I don't want to use the word adventure experience. Actually, we'll just go there. Like, where are you now? And what was the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, so I mean, we're believers. We actually, so just to explain, when I was waking up, just before I woke up, I met a neighbor, another woman in the neighborhood, and I knew she was a Christian and everything, and when I was waking up, I opened up to her about what was going on. And she was so great. Like she prayed with me, she checked in with me every day. She was just so supportive. And eventually we became pretty good friends and we'd meet up for walks or talk and stuff like that. And so she was very encouraging for my faith. And I still believed in the Bible and God and Jesus and all that, but I was still hesitant to like, I don't know, of organized religion. When you come out of something like this, you're very skittish of organized religion at this point. But I was curious about churches. Only had, I only knew about like what churches are like from the organization. I've never experienced it for myself, and so I felt like it might be good for me to go to a church and actually see for myself what it's like. I may not like it, or it may not be something I do, but like I feel like I should at least do that. But anyway, she ended up inviting us to the Easter service, and we couldn't make it to that one because the boys were sick. So we ended up going a couple weeks later, and I really liked it. I didn't think I would. I thought I was going to think it was weird, and like but no, I liked it. I mean, here was like a group of people all, singing in this worship music, which, obviously like growing up a witness, we didn't do that kind of music and stuff. And I mean, some people like Nathan even still feels it's weird, but I liked it. I felt like this is what praise and worship to an almighty God should look like, like it just felt right. And then the sermon was really good. So we've been going to this church since, and the pastor does a really great job at just going through scripture. And like one of the first things one of the first series after we started going there was going through Galatians, and it was just so great because like I mean he read more scripture than I've ever had at a meeting. And like to say that like, oh, other churches don't even open up their Bibles, that is not true.
No.
Like this is very focused on the Bible, and he just goes through, the whole chapter.
Jehovah's Witnesses religion cannot stand truth, cannot stand confrontation, cannot stand challenge. That's why David's plan tells us, don't think we are as strong as we look. We are not that strong to apostate lies. Here's a clip.
Now, another person might say, well, I can see where those warnings about apostates apply to so-and-so. He's weak, but don't worry about me. I'm spiritually strong. I can handle it. That's like a weightlifter, thinking that he can drink a vial of poison and it won't hurt him because he's so big and strong. We are not so strong, so spiritual, so intelligent, that we can't be affected by the poison of apostate ideas.
And another speaker in the 2025 Pure Worship Convention calls apostate doctrines and teachings as odorless poison that filter to your brain without even you knowing. Here's a clip.
But what else does Satan use? He uses his wicked agents, opposers and apostates, to spread seeds of doubt, to spread misinformation. But when it comes to these seeds of doubt that's spread by Satan's wicked agents, opposers, and apostates, these seeds are very insidious. They're like an invisible, poisonous, odorless gas that seeps into the consciousness of mankind, and if we're not careful, we can fail to see it for what it is. Satan's attempt to get us to abandon truth, to abandon true worship.
Why are they scared of alternative interpretation, alternative views? Why put people in a cocoon if they have the truth? It's because they don't. They have a lie. They've indoctrinated people. They've indoctrinated members. And they are scared these people will leave them. When you leave Jehovah's Witnesses, you lose your community. But you gain something they never gave you, your choice. One person said, I found peace outside. I found real family in people who chose me. This is not a story of lost faith. It is the story of reclaimed identity. It's not about losing the truth. It's about finding it. Now, if you've been through this journey, share your story below. You are not alone. If you're still inside questioning, we see you, we hear you. And when you are ready, there is the whole world waiting for you. They didn't leave the truth, they actually found it. Is this video resonating with you? If it is, kindly do me a favor. Just one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that this message can be seen by more people. The more you click, the more you like, the more you comment, the more you share, YouTube will make sure that more people see this video. Have you enjoyed this video? Has this video been eye-opening? I know it has been. Therefore, kindly do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that YouTube can make this video available to more people. And also, when I upload another video, you'll receive a notification. To watch part 1 of this episode, click on this link. To watch other related video from this channel, click on this playlist.